Hey guys, and welcome to another stream. In this stream, let's continue from where we left. Yes. So, I did some work to fix that editing, and now we have like kind of stable editing. I'll show you. We run build, right? We get this kind of editor, and now although there is no cursor, that we will try to implement right now. We have something like basic editing, right? And it's looking pretty good, right? So right now we need to have some cursor, but see, it's good. And yeah, we can have different symbols, numbers, parentheses, brackets, and all the nitty-gritty stuffs, right? So let's start from here, and let's first get that cursor added, right? And as far as the like changes are concerned, right? I didn't do much changes, except that I added this handling for numbers and handling for other characters. That is one thing. Second thing is that for like example main, right? If you look at it now, I put everything in that one editor update, right? So it's not scrambled around different places, and the update happens kind of asynchronously whenever like there is a mouse event, for example, right? And as far as the like buffer support is concerned, I also changed this name to text file buffer so that I don't confuse that name anymore. And here I have added a small remove function from our gap buffer, which was basically easy because whenever you are editing, you assure that your cursor is moved to some point, and you are only going to like string the gap start, given that it's greater than 0. So that's all that there was to it, and the rest of it is pretty much as it was, right? The only major the thing that I did offline, I guess, for the stability is getting this thing right, and this update buffer function, where I am not strictly trying to get the C string every time because I don't know why, and I didn't want to debug it. But whenever I was constructing the C string here directly, it was and casting it character pointer, it was sometimes not getting that C string, and until a certain length is reached, that C string was not being propagated correctly. That was causing that flickering where we stopped the last stream. So to mitigate that, I had a simple strategy, and it actually worked. What I did is I just like you see here, right? I just added it to a separate buffer. So for example, every text edit buffer, it has a like a render buffer where it basically stores the characters, and I added this line right now, which does nothing, but this will be important when we are going to do the line numbering stuff. So and that's it. Like I'm just getting that same buffer view and updating that render buffer instead. And once I'm done with updating the render buffer, I am just adding a null character at the end. And so this thing is basically reading from that render buffer, and this render buffer is being only updated when the editor is being updated, and the editor is being updated whenever that an asynchronous event is triggered. So that means that no longer like it's being updated every frame. The data is not being updated every frame. Rather, a cache of data is being used to draw every frame. So that is cool and all, but let's get that cursor thing going, right? So right now I don't care about these two for now at least, but I'm like these two. Let's have them there, but let's have a like cursor pause or something like that, which signifies our current cursor position, right? So something like an and it's set to 0, right? That is one way, or the second way will be to get the cursor from the buffer, because maintaining the cursor is also a responsibility of the buffer itself. That way, I think it will be better. We'll see. So let's open it on a second panel. So it's file buffer. All right. And as you can see, text file buffer already contains this cursor right here. This cursor, right? So what we can do is we can just take this file cursor and we can draw the cursor, right? So let's just try to do that. So here basically in our panel, right? So in the panel, let's open our UI. We're going to do some UI after a long time, but yeah, that's fine. So right now we have this UI text edit panel, right? Which basically shows whatever our current text edit is, right? So one thing we can do is let's say we can do something like okay, you don't like this, that's fine. You can have null pointer as well, not null off, null pointer if I can type correctly, right? And you can also take the cursor position. Oh, cursor position is already there, right? We're just not drawing it. I look for cursor position. Why? It should be at least one instance, right? I can see this. Okay. So we have only one instance of this thing, right? Yeah. And that's a short trick to get that flash out. But let's get set this cursor position, right? So basically panel dot cursor position is nothing but, or whatever the edit is, it's edit buffer. So I think we call it buff, right? Check once. Yeah, we call it buff, right? And the buff itself has a cursor, right? So buff dot buff, right? This this is the number, and I didn't want to close that but yeah, closed. So that's fine. Let's do okay. So let's come here and let's see right. So maybe we would have something like info that is written, and that info being used directly. That I think will be a better way, right? We don't need option right now. That get rid of the warnings, and we can use that info struct instead, right? An info struct that's being shared between these two guys, right? So yeah, so let's create something like a model, for example, right? So let's say models.hpp. This is also like we're getting a bit of organization here, right? And models.hpp's job is to store all the models, right? Or all the like data related structs, most likely, with a no implementation there. So let's first pragma once, right? And namespace HP. Then the first model that I'm interested in is like editor info, right? Edit info, something like that. So something like struct edit info underscore key, right? Which basically contains that buffer of characters. So it will contain the text, right? It will also contain the like title itself, right? And what else it needs to contain? Okay, let's keep this, right? And then it will have like the current cursor, right? And again, you can just set all of them to 0. This is kind of illegal, but like null pointer is also 0, so it should be fine. And then with cursor, we want to have like v1, yeah, like something like offset and size the offset line, something like that, right? So this edit info needs to be included and passed around by different components. For example, this UI text edit panel, right? So it will essentially include our model. So include model, if I can type correctly. And basically, like, this is all good, pushing sprites to things, but rather what I'm more interested in, okay, let's remove the things that we don't need right now. So XY, this is fine, but rather it will take the data from here. So edit text info, right? So this info will be passed, right? So let's make it a pointer, right? And let's set it to null pointer. And so the changes we need to do, right? The changes we need to do is this, right? So the text itself will right now come from this edit text info itself, right? And the same goes for title. Actually, we're not passing title here, I think, but that's fine. So this edit text info we have, right? And we are setting this info basically every time, and we're referring to that info, right? So this text, right? This becomes basically edit text info or info basically. We call it info, right? Yeah, info, and then we dereference from info. Not here, but we dereference from info itself. This text, and I'm all over the place today, but that's fine. Right. So that is one thing that is being passed from the text info. That's open editor.hpp. Second thing I want to pass is the cursor, right? So here basically we will create an edit text info and we will pass that, right? We can just copy that as well, right? Because this basically becomes panel dot info. Panel needs to have a info, right? Okay, let's make this thing like a normal member, right? And let's initialize this something like this. Uh, that is one way of doing it. But yeah, like right now we can check that later. You can just have the cursor first. Let's go for that, at least for now. Let's remove this because I don't want to do that refactoring right now. I just want to get the cursor on. So here you're basically pushing the sprites, right? And this text I'm also going to send the offset from where I'm giving you the text, right? So something like so edited that cursor y cursor x, right? So this cursor y and cursor x, are we setting it somewhere? I don't think so. I'm just getting them from edit, right? And whenever somebody scrolls, then what happens? Whenever somebody scrolls, right? This is update buffer. In this update, we take the edit and we basically increment or decrement the cursor y, right? But this cursor is actually a view cursor, to be more exact, not the real cursor, right? So it's kind of the from where the cropping begins, essentially. So let's actually do that. Let's call this thing view cursor so that we're clear about it, right? And my initial view cursor, I can spell correctly, is this thing, right? And this all of them becomes view cursor. So something like that. But this is not the real cursor. The real cursor will come from there, right? So this is about view cursor, right? And then here also this is like view cursor, right? And we don't have this info. And so the, this is cursor pause, I guess, right? And then we have like panel dot cursor text offset is equals to 0 for now because we're right now rendering all the text, so we need to have that, right? So in text offset, we'll see if we need this, but for now at least we can have that. And panel needs to be PNL. Somehow we are using PNL. That's fine. I don't want This title bar is fine, we don't need that. So let's see what is happening here. So in this sprite batch, right, we are passing this text, and when we are passing this text, essentially we need to pass the cursor as well, right? So create rect sprite basically. And like, why are we passing all this here? Let me understand this a bit, guys. So vector text this is equals to create text sprite. Right. So okay, basically this and this is different, right? This is the background basically. Right. This is the actual text. Right. And this gives me the text this. That is fine. But ideally when I'm rendering this stuff, right, what I want to get out is like some kind of value which basically says that okay, this particular thing is here, this particular thing is here, this particular thing is here, right? So something like this we can have like every position. Okay, we need not have both, but only the beginning. Okay, we'll see. For now let's use vec4. So we can have something like do we have a vec4? Well, I have vec2, but that's fine. Let's go for vec2 now. So vector of vec2, we'll call this like character positions, something like that, right? And one for now, like this also initializes stuff. But I like to have this, and then we can have something like a bit of reservation. So we're not like copying a bunch of times. So character positions dot reserve, and let's reserve for like this many characters at least now. We need to move this magic values outside sometime, but that's fine. Now that we have this reservation of characters, right, we can pass this thing to our like create text sprite itself. So something like are we just creating the text sprite of the whole thing? Okay, we should do it line by line. We'll see. Okay. Right now, let's just pass our character positions as a reference. Right. And this will break a couple of things because I don't think that it has this thing, right? So we can actually go in the UI, or let's say render utils, I think that file was where this is actually defined, right? And in the render utils, we have this create font texture and everything, the vector class, this thing, and here we can take another argument, right? Um, like font size we have taken, line spacing. Okay, we need to pass that line spacing, and we need to convert this to a struct maybe sometime. But for now, it's fine. We can have 0.2, whatever that value is, or 1.9, let's say. And line spacing, let's give it to like 5.5 for now. We'll change stuff. as we go along, right? So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 arguments. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? And this new thing. So basically, a vector of a vector references called say, character positions pointer, something like that, which is set for null pointer, by the way. Right? So it doesn't break any other thing which is using this. But in fact, here we're using it, right? So if it's not null pointer, in that case, we want to, like, whenever we're adding these sprites, right? We also want to add that position, right? Somewhere. Basically, the cursor X and cursor Y before we start appending, I think. So the best place will be here, right? Because after this, we're drawing the thing. Hmm. So, let's just do that. So, first things first, we're going to clear this thing, right? So, if I can spell correctly, so I'll clear this thing, and then if this is here, right? Then we'll just keep on pushing stuff. Do we have like mm, the vec2 class? Okay, this is a very nice vec2 class, to be honest. Mm, So we can just also we have a vec4. I just realized. I don't know if I'm using this. Do you have a vec4? We'll see if needed we can go vec4. But this thing is pretty easy. We just pass our like and what is cursor X and cursor Y here? Does they come from here? No, I don't get. I don't think so. Yeah, this is cursor X. Right. So what's the issue here? Positions. You can spell it correctly. And we don't have a cursor Y. Why don't we have a cursor Y? Because we start with Y only. Yeah, we use Y for some reason. I need to clean up this names at some point of time and make them consistent. Right. This is a vector. This is the pointer, right? So we need to use arrow. Same goes here. We need to use an arrow. And this should essentially populate those cursor points, right? So we get the positions here, right here. So after that, basically we can check, right? Because whatever our current cursor is, so actually we should do this at end, but we'll see, right? So offset is going to be basically our cursor position, right? Minus this thing, right? Fixed offset, right? So this is going to be cursor position minus fixed offset. And if we have that, then what we can do is we can index this position in this array, right? So if current, I can spell this correctly, is greater than or equals to 0, right? I don't want to deal with negative indexes here. So just look at that, and also given the fact that our current cursor offset is, let's say, less than or equals to our like positions total size. In that case, we are fine to access this thing. So, like previously, I just used to code, but like at some point of time, I learned about this negative space coding. Basically, you just ensure that okay, if some garbage data comes, don't crash. Okay, you just expect. The better way will be to use an assert, but this is fine here, right? So now that we have some effective, right? Basically, we have a way to pause is equals to basically this thing, right? Our this thing, all that if statement check for this one only. And now that we have this position, we can draw a rectangle at this position, right? We can see, right? So let's just copy this thing, whatever this is, right? And let's just paste it here. Um, and we're going to push a rect sprite with pause.x. Just pause have x. Yeah, pause have x. Nice. And this whole thing is just pause.y, right? And then like width, let's say we have like 3 pixels, 4 pixels for now. If I can spell correctly, right? And height, right? Height is just, I think font height should be enough, right? Or font size. And let's go like 0 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, something like that, maybe. Dull shade of gray. And with that only, if I just I don't know if I have everything shared, and if I start typing, well, we don't see anything here. That's a bit strange, but that's maybe because we're not updating this cursor pause itself, right? So let's save this, and let's save this as well, and let's open editor. In the editor, okay, where we're sending this thing, right? Mm, so we can just check it here. For example, like just have something like current or printf, something like point to f, and then backslash n. Here we can have pause.x and pause.y, right? Something like that. Now, we run this guy, and we add something. The strangest thing is that the pause is getting updated, but it's not getting updated as we want, right? And it's always zero, right? So that makes me wonder. Percentile D, and this is first argument, which is current cursor of C. So with that, we just try to build this, and then let's say we start typing. So this thing is updating, but the problem is that the values we are getting, they are not updated properly, right? Because the cursor position is increasing, if we see, right? So let's fix that quickly, and let's understand like what is going wrong here. So let's open, I think, render utils where we are passing this, like reading this thing, right? And we are basically passing this cursor x and cursor y. What about this? What's this here? Like, because this is the more appropriate place, right? And essentially, we are just using cursor x to determine, right? Before update actually, but why are they not being propagated? That is the question here. Right. So maybe I just want to first look at how the data looks like. For example, for auto recurrence B belongs to character positions. I just want to print them. So something like printf, maybe this kind of thing, where you have percentile point two f, percentile point two f, followed by v dot x and v dot y. And then at the end, you can have a that's the same. Like this. And with that, we should be able to look at the whole spectrum that's coming, right? So right now there is nothing, but let's try if I type A. So I can see that like it's correct only, right? The data is correct only. So why is it not picking it up? That is the question. When we have one character, for example, right? Oh, mic drop kind of thing. Because it's like this. Okay, this is awesome. So I think this is -1. Right. Now let's try. Right. And we have like we just saw something. When we space when we space, we're not adding new ones, right? So that thing needs to be changed. This thing needs to be added everywhere where it's needed. But also, I think that this has to be font size, and this thing I think has to be like 2. And no matter what, actually appending at the beginning was a good decision, I think. Okay, we'll see. But in any case, we need to do this thing, right? So just copy this thing when we're doing early continue, because there aren't many places where you do this. So it's fine. The same goes for here, I guess. Before we continue, we need to add this thing. On here as well, like even though the glyph has nothing, we need to respect it, that it has something or something like that. I think in the last version, somebody should say this kind of things. But once upon a time, there lived a cat that was happy and sad. Nice. So, kind of correct, but there are a couple of things that we need to fix. First of all, this thing we don't need anymore. I can get rid of this. Right. And the second thing is that let's make this z index 1, because I think z index 1 is higher, right? Uh, I guess so. I guess z index 1 is higher. Mm, we'll see. Right. And I want to add a small offset like 0.1 or something like that. Although like we like maybe with one, and this is good. But let's say we want to minus line height. We have something like line height. Let's be that font size. Let's add a small offset here, like for example 2, right? This because it is too high in my opinion. And let's make this 1. So we're just setting this by 1 pixel and that by 2 pixel. So now if we build this bad boy, right? Let's say a and then mm, it's pointing at the start of the current character, but it should point to the end of the current character. That is fine. That is actually easy to solve. So by that what I mean is that this thing, right, it should go here after we have updated the X, not here, but somewhere here, right? And let's look at the Z indexes for once. What are these Z indexes? Right. So Basically, z index 0 should be the place where you draw, or what? Z index 0. Is that more closer? I think so. Z index 0. But the higher index should be better, right? Z index text is minus 0.5. So, let's just see what are we cooking. Right. So, once again, our cursor is gone for some reason. So z index 0 is not the solution. Z index 5 if we use, right? So let's say if we have a higher z index, z index 5, you can set it manually as well. It need not be something absolute. But let's say see, so let's say we type something like food ice cream and main RC. Yeah, it's coming along. Like this is the first time we have something that like at least remotely resembles a text editor kind of thing, right? And from where we can like build the rest, right? So right now we can move the cursor forward or backward, right? So that is one thing that we need to have, I think, next. And also like we can have some kind of blink effect, I think. Blink effect we will get to later. The first thing I would like to have is to have that ability to move, right? Then user input. I think we have all these things like process input, and process input is basically um listing down these things in the buffer, right? Mm, so with that we can have like a move direction, something like that. We can set it to 0, for example. We can have a bunch of enums here, right? Move left, move right, and so on. So basically, when the value is 1, that means move up, and when the value is 0, that means that move down, right? So let's just define that in our cons, whatever that spelling I have written. I don't want to modify it, at least not now. So let's go to constants, right? Let's have something like cons left, cons d right, constant d dot. Very insightful tutorial. Suraj bhai, how are you? It's not a tutorial, bro. I'm just spending some time doing my own projects. I miss doing stuff for myself nowadays, so I started doing things back again. I'll do some tutorial after some time, but not right now. The bottom or down, right? The up, I guess. And you can have like, uh, sorry, something like is 0, right? And so in our user input, basically, we can set this, right? So by default, it's moved in off. Right. So let's do it here. If ev dot, but then there is a problem. Like, there's a problem. I'll show. For now, let's try code up left. Let's nail down left and right first. But if left and right works, then the others will work, right? So move dir, uh, yeah, move direction. So direction is equals to left, right? And sorry, move dir left, something like that. Right? Else if ev dot e down code right. Mm, I need to check it even if the key code is right, but still move dir right. Okay, let's just have these two. Else, and also the else condition, so that it doesn't stay that way. So move dir is equals to move dir no, right? So this sets the move dir, and then in main, right? Here we can also pass this move direction, right? So user input dot move direction, right? With this move direction, then we need at the editor update, right? So editor.hpp we can open, and we can go to this thing, right? So uh, 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 in the update, right? We now also have a move direction, and let's just do this. If we detect a move direction, because no of means false, right? So if it's false, then we don't need to worry about, right? That's why the no op is set to 0, because 0 is a false value. So if the move direction is available, in fact, right? And if the move direction is equal to, let's say, a move dir left, right? Then what I we would probably want is to have the, like, edit dot buff dot cursor to move back, right? So minus equals to 1, something like that. And also, if only this thing is greater than 0, right? Edit dot buff dot cursor is greater than 0. Only then we want to perform this operation, right? So let's just test for this only, and let's see what we can get. Did you get any kind of error? I think we got some error right here. So main, okay, we got some error here. So it says that this is editor update, right? And this editor update is taking 3 things. Okay, we didn't save the main, I guess. So now if we build this, right? we get the executable out, and then we can say that, and see, we can move the cursor. We're still like for some reason at the back side, but that's fine. uh, Theoretically it worked. That is more important, right? So let's implement the rest, right? So we can just copy this and paste this, right? And else if move direction is moved it right, and whatever the cursor is less than edit dot get total length, right? Because we can't never exceed total length -1, I think. We'll stick. In that case, we'll just +1, right? And let's go to this thing, right? What is it called? Let's go to UI, like render utils, right? And like, what kind of system are we using? Are we like it takes so greater minus means in front. Is that where we what we are trying to say? Is that what we are trying to say? So basically, what we are trying to say is this, right? If I understand correctly, the current coordinate system that we are using, right? So this is for cursor. I should mark this, right? If I use something like 0.8 -0.8 f, then it should be top on top, right? Ideally, I might be wrong, but let's test that hypothesis. Yeah, that's what I was missing. Okay, we can go left, but somehow we are not able to go right. That's what we need to fix. But at least we are now at top, and I think that we no longer need this offset, right? So if I can do it correctly, right? This can be 1.0 or something like 1.2. Don't know, right? Mm, So why are we not able to move? So if the direction is right, and if the cursor position is greater than, no, it's is less than. That's right. Now, if we come here and we say hash include, and we can go back. Isn't it nice? Okay, this is not what I thought. We have some bug that we need to fix, but um, so that is coming from gap buffer. But let's say a quick brown fox, something like that, and then I say lazy fox. So this works. This also works. Right. somehow our cursor went out of the bounds. Like here, I get it. And now when I come back and do this, it vanishes, right? Now when I come back and do this, okay, it works once again. Definitely shouldn't. Um, and also, yeah, so that's the bug. But the preliminary hypothesis that I have, right, is that let's make this -2. Right. So we only allow you to go till the total, either the total length is being deceiving us, because like I am logging the total length at the bottom, right, and that total length exploded. Now I can go to the last character. Thanks. I shouldn't have this logic here, at least. Let's shift this logic first to somewhere else. Uh, just let me check once more. So uh, from now on, I will try to mostly fix the bugs upstream, because like when streaming, bugs are more there. But at least we got some position where you can essentially type stuff, right? Isn't this nice? And then it's a backslash doesn't work. Okay, backslash needs to be sure. This is an easy to fix. Yeah, we are getting into some place where we can be a bit proud of ourselves. So let's stop patting ourselves on the back, and let's at least get the blinking work, right? So we need some kind of time essentially, some way to get the time, right? So in the utils, right, there should be some function which gives us the absolute time maybe. So let's check that. If it's not there, then we'll add basically. So utils, do you have something like uh float get timestamp? Nice. So we have this function we can use. Nice. Let's open editor. We are already in the editor, right? So you can go to not render but UI, right? And here we can basically take the timestamp, right? So timestamp float. I don't know how reliable it is, so timestamp is equals to get timestamp. I think you utils is included in the render utils. If it's not, I will get an error, so I don't worry about it too much. But let's just for the sec include utils. Something And we have this get timestamp, which should have thrown an error, but it didn't. That we can do, and we can just print it for now. Check if this actually works. We just do that. Build. Right. We get this awesome timestamp thing. Right. So now what we do is essentially how it works is you divide and take the reminder, right? Do we have something like an int timestamp? Because we can also work with the int timestamp. It need not strictly become be float. So let's go to okay. Let's just let it be this. No issue. But let's think of it a bit before we jump into it. Like it's not that difficult, but still, I don't want to use fmod. That is the reason, right? But I think we have only one timestamp, so we need to use fmod. So fmod is just the modulus operation for float, basically. So include, I think it's in cmath, if I'm right. And in cmath, basically we can have like we can call this dt, right? Um, and dt is essentially fmod, right? Routing modulus operation, if I'm right, and most likely I'm not. And let's say 1.0, right? I want you to only go to 1.0. That is what I'm trying to do here. And then we put dt here, right? And then if we haven't done anything wrong, it should work, but it didn't. So we have done something wrong, I guess. Let's check if its compilation failed. Because that's what I'm thinking has happened, right? So yeah, timestamp undeclared, right? So somehow this guy's intelligence is also not working. Timestamp is no longer there. Okay, now do this. See, we keep on repeating in between one, right? Which we actually want. With that, now we can implement a simple blinking by just multiplying this thing with the position. So just like not position but the color, right? So vec for color is equals to, let's say, cursor color is this, right? Right, and then we just want to just say cursor color dot x. Like we can in fact add some vector math operation functions, but right now I don't see any benefit, right? And because we're not dividing, so there is no problem of getting zero. Um, and just if we do it for alpha, right? ZW, right? And if we don't do anything, just do this. In fact, what do we get? Do we get the blinking? We get some kind of blinking, right? Include, but it's not quite how you would expect, right? It's going to zero and then coming back up. It's going to zero and coming back up. It's going to zero and coming back up. Well, it's typically like like a cursor, but the difference is that and also let's make this one, right? Because I don't want that artifact. I don't like that artifact. So let's just multiply this with 0.5, I guess. We can just ape mod till 0.5 also. That is also a valid way of doing it. But yeah, I think this also, or like we can go till 0.5 and then we multiply by 2, right? So essentially every 2 seconds we every like every half a second we get that blink going on. So let's try. Yeah, for now we can deal with it. All right, we can live with it. So this is the position where basically that error occurs. Right. I need to solve this bug. Right. This went completely bizarre. Right. So yeah, we can fix that. But at least we got the cursor blinking. Right. That is one of the tasks that we today set out to do. Right. And let's add like 5 here, or 6 here. Right. Um, yes, I think that 6 would be a better number, but we'll get those things sorted. Okay, 6 will be a bit too more. So I guess 4 is a good number. And now we'll just simply implement a file read and save, not slave, but save, and we can call it a day. So hash include screen. Let's see. Right. And then so yeah, let's get the saving and actual file reading from the system done, so that it's at least some committable state with the proof that we did something. Might be right or might be wrong. We don't judge. Okay, like we don't go there. Let's do one thing first. Let's check that scroll bar itself is working. We also need to like add scrolling mechanism for like other keys. Right. So for example, I'm just adding more characters. Okay, the scrolling is not happening as we expected. So that thing we need to check, right? That why that scrolling is not going on. That I will get fixed off stream. So I will fix a couple of things off stream. But one thing I will get it get done is I'll at least add the open file and save file functionality, and I will call this for a day. Right. Because it's about time. Mm, so for that, let's go to main, right? And in main, right now we can add a usage, right? That argv needs to be at least one later to open a file, right? Because we don't have any other way right now. So if argc is less than zero, right? So we basically, if argc is less than not less than zero, it will never be less than zero. It's just if it's less than two, that means if we have less than two argument. So right now I'll just say printf editor file name, something like that. Right. Right now we are only able to like edit files. Okay. Something like that. Basically. And so we ensure that we at least have two arguments. So this actually becomes args v1, right? Because things are zero indexed, right? So with that, it should open the original file content, right? So it opened. That's good. But is the file itself empty? We go here. There is an A. Where did this A go? Apple banana. Right. So test.txt, right? Why are you not appearing? These things I need to fix at some point of time, and I will get them fixed. But not right now. Right now, I just want to check why this guy is empty, right? So clearly when we say editor open if exists, right? Open existing file, and we're passing argv, right? And this file's name is test.txt, right? In example folder text.txt. So let's go to our build.bat. Let's check. It's example folder test.txt, right? So it's the right file only. So let's go inside editor.hpp, right? And in editor.hpp, we basically let's add a printf. This one I am going to keep. Okay, so we run this, right? So we are opening this in fact, and we didn't get that message could not initialize editor, right? So I just want to know the what the initial text is, right? So edit.init this, right? So you can go inside edit init and see what is happening, right? So this gets the file content, right? So if this gets the file content, right? Then you can just printf to check if the file content is there genuine, right? So printf file content percent. something like that. Right. Now if we build, okay, the file content is there, but the file content is not being appended to the buffer. That's what we still need to check. This file content is obviously there, right? Let's remove this and let's go to text file buffer. So in text file buffer, basically when we are initializing, right? I just want to see that. We got the text, but it was not appended. Okay, so right now we don't have a buffer count and we need to copy 56 characters, right? Then how are we copying this 6 characters, right? So we're just moving these two buffers, right? Ah, I got it. So b dot gap start is equal to sg, right? Because we already have these many characters there. And b dot gap end, if I'm right, is already the last value, right? So same goes for here, like for all the previous buffers, right? Um, the gap has to be defined. So b dot gap start is equals to b dot gap end because we no longer have any gap, right? And also in append character, let's make this bool for now. So in this case also b dot is equals to 2. Probably I will add a init function so in the buffer which will solve that issue. But now with this we should be able to see stuff or not. Mm, 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 mm. So what's the issue? We know that we need to we mem copied it. We did it. Mm, 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 mm. we are copying the text to buffer, right? This thing we need to check. The first thing is destination, which is the buffer itself. We're just moving buffer to some arbitrary space. I just need to do so. Let's say print f. We'll just get this fixed. Call it for a day. Something like that. Right. So the buffer is this, right? Buffer contains, right? And when we are initializing, right, when we are getting the view, we have like the gap start, till gap start. Whenever we're looking for a view, right, we're going till the gap start. So why in this case it's not happening, right? So SZ is there. There needs to be some bytes copied, right? So text needed to be copied is 56, right? Why is this 56? It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At most 12 or 13, right? Why is it saying that 52? Explain. Oh, why did it suddenly become 56? Yes, you know, but it's still 56. So what happened that this thing became 56? It's an unsigned integer, so it doesn't really matter. This is what modulus symbol does. No, it's not going there. I don't know it. It's 356. Excellent is 40. How are you getting 56 here? Something is something modulus operation. So it should give me the reminder, right? We just, but we never went to that place. I don't understand. Just print it here. One more time. I have another way, but this should work. Alright. See, it's 14 only. Some why this modulus operator is showing some garbage error. I don't care. So if you don't like this, I'm fine. I have other ways of getting things done. Yeah. Now 14 is there, right? But still nothing is here. Right? And like when we are opening, essentially the character is one, right? So that we need to check. Let's remove these things for now. Whatever the character effect is, it's been returned as 0. Sorry. So maybe normally happened, it works perfect. And gap end is this when we are emplacing back, we are essentially creating a very identical copy. But still, yeah, I got it. My bad. C++ reference issue. Now, if we check, okay, we get the lines characters right. That you have 40 characters, but the view is coming wrong, right? So let's see that. So let's see if this function is being called, right? So for int I equals to 0, I is less than gaps dot I plus plus. What happened with I? Okay. And we just verified that buffer indeed contains this value, right? So just to be sure, right, let's print it. Okay, so first time it's not getting the buffer. That's the issue. So that's easily fixable. Um, let's open main. Right. Oh, let's save whatever I have. But when you initialize, right? I want you to immediately get the view as well. That's I think it's all about. So in the editor, right? We do this initialization, right? And when you initialize, basically we say that buffer.init and this thing, but we don't really call update buffer, right? Whose job is no update buffer is just to append the data, right? This is the render buffer, right? And this render buffer is basically getting the buffer view and setting it to zero. We can call update buffer with an empty. This should work, right? So technically, you can just say update buffer with this no values. Will this work? Moment of truth. Yeah. Right. And also, like that's fine. We're at the beginning. We can later move the cursor to the end. Right. So it's on. And that particular bug we need to fix. But that we can do later. Last thing I want to have is to do control save, control S. Right. So something like white save. Something like that. So we'll open the file. So file file is file if open file file path file path is a string, so we need to do dot c string. And then the mode is we're going to write if file, right? That means we're going to save that file. So so if we are going to save this file, right? What do we need to do? Um, First of all, you need to get the whole buffer right. So studios. That is zero. This is the entire thing. Okay, what are you complaining? You don't know this thing exists. It's literally the stupid thing. This is the risky code. That is the good code. You chose the risky code over good code. What I can do? F open. Right? It takes the file part and mode. Okay, I got it. Oh, maybe it's because this should be a like string. Is this why you're complaining about? Yeah, my bad. So, so first of all, the buffer itself, which is nothing but a view. What is it called? Buff view. System. And element size is one. Element count is buff view dot size, and we want to write the file. And then I close. File. Now we can go to the editor itself, and you can have the close functionality. Let's source slash what is it called? User input, right? In user input, if control is down and the guy presses S, right, which is a special event, so it should treat that. So something like is user type presses control S, right? In that case, I just want to save it. Um, I can just say that okay, should save equals to true. I don't want to write that false. And in main, then I can pass this thing. Right. So it's this will cause a problem in editing. Where basically we need to say that we want to allow saving. Right. So let's do that in the update. Also state should save. Right. Something like that. And if would save, and probably we just should edit dot Okay. So then we will test this thing out. Right. We can do this and hopefully it builds. Right. And we have this apple banana. And then we can say apple. Okay. Something was not right. Got apple banana. Just as we move to one cursor, we got some error. So let's not move the cursor right now. Let's just append, like prepend some text, right? So let's not do that. Just that. Let's hit Control S. Right. So now we open this file. We still have apple banana. So it didn't work. Right. And then if we do Control save, got saving file. And then if we open this, got saved. We got some unwanted character, but that's fine. So that's it, guys. I'll be closing the stream for today, and I'll get things fixed and maybe add some more functionalities off stream because I think um doing these things in stream will not like for example today's case it except that implementation of cursor and the same mechanism it didn't it didn't help you guys much, right? So I will keep on continue. I will keep on working on this particular project, this text editor that we built, right? This guy right here. Okay. And if we, I will keep on committing it, right? And when it's in a good state, and I am about to implement a like interesting thing, right? For example, let's say syntax highlighting or something like that. In that particular time, I will do a stream, right? So that way, it becomes it stays relevant and helpful to you guys, right? So that will be the goal, and let's see. So I'll basically switch this thing so development and switch these things development to off screen. And whenever I implement something nice, like for example, simple syntax highlighting or clipboard or something like that, um, in that time I will do the stream, right? So that even if we have the bugs, so we at least get to know that okay, this thing is done this way, and we have to learn something. So hope you have enjoyed this session. If you did, then please hit a like and maybe consider subscribing. I think terrible today. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a very nice day. So yeah, bye guys, and have the rest of the weekend and enjoy it.